I will always say the first step, if you want to use AI, is transcribe your interaction. It doesn't work without, because the contact center space is based on human interactions. And these human interactions need to be converted in machine understandable data.
Hi everybody, welcome to this product briefing. This is one of the topics of late 2025 and going into 2026. It's AI in the contact center, but not just abstractly AI in the contact center, but where are the practical real world wins? I've got Marcel, who's going to take us through a little bit about Luware Nimbus, but more importantly about what he's seeing with customers, where the challenges are and where the successes are. Marcel, do you want to start by introducing yourself and your role?
Sure, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure having those sessions with you. Always very eye-opening and interesting. My name is Marcel Gaufroid. I'm since 7 years now with Luware on the journey in the Microsoft UC space, creating customer service suite. And of course, currently AI is the whole topic. And today we wanted to share a little bit how our clients, we have over 1,000 clients right now using our product on top of Microsoft Teams, how they all tackle or how they want to enter all those AI topics, which are very hot and in demand.
Awesome. I know you've got particularly some very highly regulated clients. You've got obviously the Swiss heritage and the like lots of interesting customers, so varied experience of all the different verticals as well.
Yeah, it goes really across the board. So we have Terre des Hommes, for example, all the non-profit organizations. We have a few of them, but then it goes all the way to the other end where we have banks and insurances who also rely on our services. So we get a very broad spectrum of what each vertical needs and where also the limitations currently are, because it's not, unfortunately, not always as straightforward as it is.
Awesome. I appreciate the transparency on that. So where does this conversation start? Is it we have features, do you want them? Is it the customers saying we want AI? Like what's your feel of the market?
There's various ways how they approach the thing. Some of them have a clear budget. They have for this year money to spend on an AI to drive innovation, and others more come out of a necessity. So they see demand or the caller or the workload steadily increasing and to want to regulate this or help the agents a little bit with AI. So we took all of those feedbacks, and those clients basically come to us with various questions. And our main principle, or what we suggest them to, is always go with the low risk, high reward use cases. And when we talk about them, we clearly have those three pillars. Now, in our solution, we have, of course, AI products. And when we scoped them together with our development, it was very important to us to have it clear and easy to implement, because it is complex enough already. And we came out with like the three core pillars here, which is the first one, automation, where of course everybody wants to reduce the workload, have a 24/7 service for every caller where they don't have to wait for an agent to pick up the call. And this is basically the pinnacle of AI. But then we have the augmentation part. So whenever an agent takes a call or gets into the interaction, we need to support the agent, basically hand them information, help him wrap up the call, summarize everything. So this is also a very important aspect, which we cannot neglect. And then last but not least, outside of the daily, of the heat or the daily struggles, we have the whole analytics part where we have basically an AI monitoring all the SLAs, making suggestions, and so on. So those are like the three main disciplines we see right now manifesting.
Nice. Your marketing team have done a good job with the alliteration there with the 3 A's. So you kind of got automation is automating the end customer experience. So like the kind of the high, the pitch of AI agent, zero ring answer. Augmentation is agent assist kind of model, and analytics is obviously into the data. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. We have it also displayed a little bit in another way. So when we talk about the customer journey, he starts calling your hotline or your main number. And then we have the light section, which is triaging the caller, find out what language he talks, what is his intent basically. And then he waits in the queue. This is all before he even touches a person. And there you see on the bottom, we have our Luware product, which is the virtual user from Luware. And in that phase, we talk about automation, because this is where we can deflect the incoming caller and have really a bot there serving the client, keeping him happy as well, handing him information while he's calling for an agent to take the call. Because let's be honest, also some recent studies showed that actually no customer wants to talk with AI. They want always to have a client in reach. They don't mind talking to AI while they're waiting for a caller, but I don't know if you have the experience. If you're like caught in a loop where you constantly talk to AI, you lose.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I think if you ask anybody, like they're like non-technical people, their gut reaction is, I'd rather talk to a human, because our experiences with automation in contact center historically have not been great. As in, you say, like, who do you want to talk to? You say billing, and it pushes you through to something different. It's got better over time. There's a long tail of suboptimal systems out there, I think. I've had some positive experiences in recent months, things like in the UK, Sky TV and restaurant bookings, where it's not been bad. It's been logging based off my phone number. It's knowing my reservation, things like that. So it is getting better, but there's definitely a mind share thing to overcome with people of what was basically fairly like dumb automation into what you can actually do with some of the voice models now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also, it needs time. It's like video calling. It was a future, the future technology. And now you see video calling everywhere. I video call with my mom, who would never have done it before. So the same goes with AI, interacting with a machine and having the machine doing the things you tell it to do needs time and training. And
what are you actually seeing with your 1,000 customers? Are they ready for AI agents to answer the call? Are they giving it as an option in the queue so you can kind of wait or go AI, or are they just not ready yet?
There we go into a very interesting topic. So the tools are ready. I mean, I think everybody played a little bit around with ChatGPT. You can get it to answer your questions, to interact with you. It's built to...
Yeah, the voice models are nuts. If you're listening to this and you haven't played, particularly with ChatGPT's or OpenAI's models, they're a step ahead of like things like Anthropic or some of the others you might have played with in terms of being able to interrupt, to change what you said. Actually, this, no, I want that. It's really keeping up with real speech now.
Absolutely. Now the question is, towards a client who wants to have a virtual user making the basic questions, is like, how do you advise the virtual user? Should he know what he has to do, where he has to stop, and where he has to hand over? And this is why we always tell our customers, you don't start actually here with the light section with the virtual user. You start in the back. You start with the companion, which is our agent assistant tool set, basically. So we have virtual assistants on the bottom. Because you need to know first what your agents actually do. It would be the ideal scenario if every client has a proper documentation, what every single service line does with all the questions and all the answers. But sadly, that's not the case.
But this is the exciting thing about AI at the moment. It's less sexy, but because you can record sessions and transcribe sessions, there's no way anybody has perfect documentation. But providing you're prepared to spend the money, which is a different conversation, you could record 100% of your calls and document 100% of your calls and find out all the typical use cases. Now that can get costly potentially, which we'll talk about, but like for the first time, we can scalably document what's actually happening in terms of interaction. Absolutely. Which is really exciting. So
we explain it here with the Microsoft products. I mean, we have a contact center in place, already agents taking those calls. And let's take that as an example. So we have a classic IVR with 3 or more exits here: finance, support, and sales. And the IVR menu, press 1, 2, 3, is pretty manual. Everybody knows that one, and basically nobody likes that. But we need to, if you want to replace that one with a bot who does the triaging, in that particular example, it's very easy. You just give a prompt to the bot, hey, separate the intent of a caller or asking about this problem, then separate into a technical question, a commercial question, or a billing question. But reality is not so straightforward. And we have a lot of insurance companies who have 40 different hotlines or queues who all cover insurance claims. Now try to put that in a prompt. That is not so easy. And it's very dynamic. In winter it's hailing, in summer it's storms. So the bot you put in front of it, you need to make sure he does the right job.
It's interesting what the bar is for success there as well, because if you give an end user calling in faulty IVR options, they're also not going to get it right. They're just going to press by 7. They're just going to press one, aren't they? So what's the success metric of successfully routing it to the right department is interesting.
Yeah, we have some feedback we can also quote. They were very happy with the test results. One bigger insurance said before, with a very complex IVR, so with a multi-level IVR, and the accuracy of around about 75%. So a lot of let's say 25% of the callers ended up in the wrong queue and need to be transferred into the right queue. Whether it be they're on patients and just press 11111, which happens a lot, unfortunately, until they talk to a client, or they just misheard certain instructions.
Yeah, they're not an expert in what they need. So you said I had a leak, and so you hear household in the IVR, so you press 1, but actually there's a separate IVR for water related issues, but you never get there because you didn't wait for the list, that kind of thing.
So we replaced it with an intent detector, if you might say like that, as just to find out what is the actual problem and where can it be solved. And just by replacing the manual IVR, we could increase the success rate or the accuracy of transferring it to over 90%. I think
that's amazing. That's awesome. And I can see the logic of why that could work as well, in the sense of you can ask somebody at the start of the IVR to fairly verbosely explain their issue, and then the AI can go, oh, okay, it's about a house, but it's a rented house, but this scenario, but that scenario. Like, I don't know if you're doing this, but I could see how conceptually the AI could go back and forward and clarify. Like, do you mean A or do you mean B?
Exactly. But how should he know? How should he know what each service is doing? Yeah. So that brings me actually to the first step. If you want to have if you want to replace the IVR and have a bot do everything, the first thing you need to do is here, you put the companion on every single service line without any automation in front. And then we transcribe every interaction of your service, and then we summarize it.
So this is like a learning mode, essentially.
Exactly. So with that information, we have now, and we let it run without any automation. So the next step is actually, we take all this transcript and summaries and give it to another bot. It's a whole agentic world. And this agent, he doesn't have to listen to the conversation. He's not trained in figuring out the summary or in what context it is. All he does is take from every session the question, the answer, and then on Luware you can also have the agent to confirm if the problem is solved, if the solution is the right one. And then we
How are you guys coping with the terminology of human agent and AI agent internally? Are you distinguishing them with prefixes or something? Because it's a hard conversation to have in our space for what's AI agent and what's agent, if you like.
When we talk about an agent, it's actually always a human. So it's the classic contact center agent who is trained on his tasks. Mm-hmm. When we talk about a virtual agent, if you want, or a bot, basically an AI, we talk about the virtual user in our space. So
Right. Okay. So virtual user to you is AI agent being the current word in vogue of kind of automation.
That's correct. Yeah.
Useful.
We need to all find a common.
Yeah. I'm having this conversation a lot, and it's really fun. I hear people talking at cross purposes in contact center, where one is meaning AI agent and the other one is meaning human agent.
Absolutely. So yeah, here basically the labeling bot we create here, he basically makes a database. It can be a simple list of all interactions, like in what hotline or in what queue was what question asked, what was the answer, and is it verified as a true answer or not? And we just keep on gathering the data. We leave it running, let's say, for 3 months without any automation. Now, what happens is, first of all, the Luware companion in its own has its return on investment, if you want, because we will drastically decrease the workload for all the agents because they don't have to take notes and have to create the tickets. We can all automate this for him so he can really focus on the problem solving part. And therefore, he can shorten down the off-the-call work, if you may, or we reduce the stress load for him because, funny enough, in the contact center space, one of the biggest pain points still is the high fluctuation, high turnover of people who are just can't handle the stress anymore. So with reducing the stress, you already have some very big benefits without even talking about automation. So basically, we always advise all our clients, hey, go with the Nimbus Companion, do it for your agents. It's a very low investment as well, because we found a way how to do it quite cheap. But that's another topic. We can have that conversation then with the clients.
But this is a great way to start. So this is obviously super low risk. We're just learning, like taking information in. So talk to me about how this works from a product perspective. Like, is this already a feature people could just switch on? Is there a consumption cost? Is it done in your cloud as SaaS? Is it done on their Azure as consumption? What does that look like?
That's again up to the user. We have both ways. There's first we launched everything with bring your own AI, basically. So we have all the interfaces, so you can just plug in your language model, and then we in our UI show you the transcript, show you the summary, and so on. And then of course you have the Luware licenses for the companion itself. So we unlock all those features, and then you plug in your AI, and the consumption of the AI is then being built separately. Because we as Luware, we are not in the large language model game. We want to be flexible and give you the possibility to bring the best possible LLM for you, because it's not always the best performance. Maybe it's security risk. Maybe even you have your dedicated AI you built, and we see the stronghold there to be flat.
Yeah, geo, cost, model preference, like those are all variables as to what you choose there. And a lot of Microsoft customers might have a pre-committed spend on Azure for some of the models, for example.
But then as reality hits, not everybody wants that. People come to us and say, like, yeah, this is not budgetable. I have a fixed budget. I cannot work like this with running costs. So we turned around, and we have now Companion, which includes transcription and summary, sentiment analysis, and also the tagging, all built in with a flat rate fee. So this is also available. It's really up for the user if he wants to have it through Luware, or if he wants to have the flexibility in bringing your own. So there's no...
That's good to know. Are there any particular models you guys have found are better or worse for that learning scenario? Because it's different to the things like the real-time speech models, isn't it? Yeah. Essentially, it's taking text and working on text.
Absolutely. So, as I said, we are really trying, because we want to have this as a very clear use case, a very clear business case as well. We have started with doing everything real time, and then we had to step back and say, hey, for transcript and summary, as it is for the basic functionality, what we're talking about right now, we don't need it live. We need it post-call, because you get this created after the call. And by having it the post transcript, the transcript and the summary being processed after the call, and we don't need it real time, we could slash the costs by the factor of 5. So it's 80% cheaper the way we do it right now, which makes the business case even clearer. It's very, very low risk again, to also financially, with a very big impact in really automizing the whole after call work around this customer service desk.
Interesting. And how, 3 months is your recommended period for that to get a good amount of data to understand what's going on?
Yeah, with 3 months, there's a lot. I mean, we keep it running, right? It on growing, but after 3 months, you have with the clients we tested that system, they had for each service line over 100,000 questions and answered, verified by the agent. And that is already a very good description of what each single queue can answer or what the responses are on certain issues. And then now we're getting into the whole realm of structured data. Because besides the benefits for the agent that we help him summarize and transcript and protocol all those calls, we have a little gold mine here on the bottom, because we keep on adding data and data and data. And then comes the next step. After 3 months, we have a clear, you need to check it as well and have a look what is being recorded there. And then comes the moment where you say, okay, this is now a lot of trainable data for our AI. And then we go one step further. So we take this generated data and now we feed it directly into the virtual user. So now the virtual user has a direct loop, a feedback loop, what is being answered from the human agents, like his fallback scenario. And when a new problem arrives, he basically doesn't know the answer. He just escalates it. He hands it over to the agents. He does that maybe 100 times, whatever you configure him to do. And after 100 times, let's say sales answered questions about the new product, it's being again summarized, labeled, and then fed back. And then then the visual user learns on the job that the new product release notes are on the knowledge base. And then maybe when the accuracy level is high enough that he is allowed to give the answer directly, he can then dynamically react on new incoming inquiries.
That's awesome. It's great to understand how you're going through that training, and that kind of essentially training or knowledge database. Like, can humans go in there and tweak and tune and add to that?
Absolutely. It's also required. So there is to have this one accurate. Of course, you always need a human that goes over it, and the data gathered needs to be controlled, needs to be checked maybe as well. So you are really building your trainable data or know-how for each single service line. So it never runs fully automatic. I'm not in the use cases we are doing right now, but we're also very beginning on the story.
That's interesting. There's kind of a new role emerging in that contact center sphere, isn't there? Which is somebody who is constantly tweaking and tuning the knowledge base and realizing that a new question's coming up that's never come up before. So the humans have had to answer it. How do we cycle that back into the knowledge base so the virtual agent can get it next time?
Absolutely. And there, and this is basically the basic. I will always say the first step, if you want to use AI, is transcribe your interaction. It doesn't work without, because the contact center space is based on human interactions. And these human interactions need to be converted in machine understandable data. Therefore, this is really a big step now, and we see a lot of very impressive data being gathered by the companies. Even if you don't feed it back right now, it is data that's being analyzed in a completely different way. Before you had like limited codes or buzzwords you were filtering, but right now, if you set the labeling bot up, exactly how you want it. Like you can again make buckets and the bot can.
I feel like this information. I might be jumping to your analytics area, but this information is like gold for like a services team or a product team to be like, well, like, oh, there's loads of questions coming in about XYZ feature. Like we clearly, the feature needs improvement. We haven't documented it properly, or, you know, you're in a local council and like it's constantly calls about this particular car park payment system is not working. Right. There's an issue there we need to go and solve.
So yeah, no, what you said is absolutely right. So with the companion, as you saw, we can already do the assistance for your agents. But what's also part of the companion we haven't touched yet is the whole analytics part. And this will be in the second, let's say, module, which is part of the companion. It comes both together, which is the chat client. The chat client, basically, as many of AI features will be, let's quickly jump ahead. Will be here a section on the Luware Nimbus UI, and you can ask him questions. You can ask him questions. Hey, what problems are currently being asked in the last 4 days? And then,
so this is a chat interface to the analytics, essentially.
Absolutely. So this is the companion, as we call it, the Luware companion. You will find that when you buy the license and you unlock it, you will find it in the bottom left. You can open it out and then you can ask exactly those questions. Are there new problems arriving we haven't seen in the past? Why am I losing SLA over the last 4 weeks? And then he can go into the data. It's trained also to interpret the Luware reporting data. And now combined with the context which we are gathering, and we can do some tremendous stuff, actually. It is, I don't want to say sky is the limit because there is always a limit, but the ideas keep on coming.
Yeah, I feel like the limit with the AI models, again, provided you're prepared to pay the money on the compute cost, like you can churn a whole lot of data. Like, I think it's really interesting. Obviously, there's a role for the contact center to report back to the wider business on what's going on, what's happening. Like just knowing what are the trends, why was there a load. You can see from the stats before there were loads of calls and we had a long queue and we were overrun and we were busy. But now you have the context of exactly why in the transcripts and the data.
That's it. And this will be like the main benefit what we see. I mean, there's lots of other things, but at the moment, let's see for the foreseeable future or for this year, what we really see is a push towards transcribing everything, have this as well accurate. We focus really on the accuracy on the transcript and summaries because this will be the data which lead you to other AI topics. And having that properly done as a foundation in 2026 at least, without looking at all the fancy features that are coming, this will give you a stable step-by-step approach to enter this AI era. And then, of course, start with simple automation, an intent detector that it's teached on all those questions that been asked the last 3 months, gives you a good enough accuracy that you can leave him running out there because he is working on its own, right? You need to have some trust in it that he doesn't talk about competitors, that he doesn't agree with a complaining client who says, yeah, I'm always have to wait here, and says like, yeah, I understand you always have to wait in this queue. I mean, you want to be a positive bot out there. And I think we all heard about this. How is that? The case of Canadian Airlines where the bot promised some refunds and
yeah.
This is what happens if you just prompt the bot and leave it out there in the wild.
I think that there was one where a delivery firm as well had, the user was getting to say poems about how bad the delivery service was and, swear at me with every response, and it was just doing it, like very ill thought out agents.
Yeah, I mean, those are to be fair, it was very brave of them to just release them. And we keep on learning it, what is possible or not.
So what's the practical end to that then? So people have done the training's all very safe, as in the data gathering is all very safe. If customers do want to start putting virtual agents or AI agents customer facing, how do you get from having this data store to trusting the agent to interact with the end customers?
I mean, it all comes down again. It comes back to accuracy again. If I go back to the slide where you see the feedback loop, the little word accuracy here is a very high one, because we know the data, and you can give a virtual user a threshold, like how sure he has to be when he gives some information. If let's say the last 100 questions about an update was a certain a knowledge base entry, or you should create a ticket on a certain page, and then you can start a virtual user, enabling him to give answers at this particular question. But I also have to say, as of today, if you give a virtual user clear rule set, there's always a way to get him to step across the line. I mean, we've seen that in our tests where we prohibit an AI to talk about other products. And if you keep on being persistent, you get him to a point where he dodges that. But again, it's a low risk, high reward. And for doing the triaging at the moment, make it simple. Tell the client, hey, explain me your problem in one sentence and I will transfer you into the right queue. This is something everybody will do, because I don't want to go through an IVR. This is very easy. I tell him just like, I don't agree with whatever letter you sent me, and then he will transfer it.
Yeah, so that's your recommendation for kind of the easiest way into the AI world, is just have it do the initial understanding of the problem and picking the right place to send it to queue buyers.
And you can measure that. As I said with our insurance, who replaced it, the first call resolution, so basically the KPI that indicates are people corrected with the right agent, that should go up. And it does. If it doesn't go up, we need to dig down. Why does the virtual user transfer the caller to the wrong people? Maybe the question he asks is wrong in the queue. Maybe the underlying data is interpreted wrong. Then you have to do the searching. But pure intent detection is, again, low risk, high reward. I mean, you can make a fallback if you see.
Yeah, it's only going to send it to the wrong queue as a worst case scenario, and you've got all the logging of what it did every time as well.
If the accuracy is so low that the first resolution even drops after a day, you can always fall back into a manual IVR. It's always there. And with Luware, it's a click of a button. I don't know with other systems, and then you can relaunch it. And of course, don't go with the most important queue. Maybe an IT internal help desk is always a good.
Yeah, starting internal is great. Like, that's a great way to learn. That's awesome. And how much of this that you talked about today, like, can customers do themselves or do themselves? Or you guys have obviously a great partner network. Is there partner pro services to help with this? They need to talk to you directly. What does that look like?
That really depends on your internal workforce. I mean, that varies. I told you before, we have a very wide spread. So not everybody is so lucky to have a data analytics expert in their staff. Therefore, they rely on certain models or vendors or partners to do that. But the first steps, like creating a companion and attaching, now we are very Microsoft focused, of course. We have a Microsoft Azure Foundry, which gives them the great flexibility of choosing your LLM you want to use. And for that, we have our pre-sales, we have our technical experts that help you plug in an LLM into Luware. And then basically it's a toggle button. Activate transcription, yes or no. The biggest hurdle here will be the compliance. Are you allowed to transcribe every call, or do you have to get the consent first? Those are the questions which need to be answered by each individual internal legal team, how they need to operate, because every call is being handled differently. But in general, we find with just storing the transcript and the interpretation out of it, it's not like a recording where we have the client voice recorded in an audio file is like me doing notes right now. Nobody prohibits me of making notes about this call and say it.
Yeah, that's an interesting legal distinction, isn't it? Like a transcribe versus record. And Microsoft have a similar philosophy in Copilot. Like a Copilot being on is different to recording in their verbiage as well, because there's no audio file of the recording. There's just transcription, or in their case, even a transient transcription. So it'll be interesting to see where countries and industries land on that. In early 25, there was a lot of conversation around, do we have to acknowledge if something's AI processed? It feels like we're mostly over that now, because everything is being like spell checks AI and you know, predictive text is AI. So like it feels like that's died down, but obviously recording and transcription is interesting, and how you store that, and do you have to tell your customer how you store it, and GDPR, there's a lot to that.
Yeah. The other localization is really up to the client. That's nothing we can answer. We can show.
Yeah, you give the capabilities, but their legal team have to make the call based on their company and jurisdiction and all that fun stuff.
We have a very different approaches to this, from it's absolute no-go to, it's no problem at all. So I don't know where you fall with your industry and client, or also use case in the customer service space.
Awesome. So talk us through the kind of the commercials or features of this. Is the entire thing we've talked about Nimbus Companion throughout?
Yes. So Nimbus Companion, let's go a little bit up to the slide where we have all those products. How we position it, Nimbus Companion is like the first product you will buy. You start from the back if you want. So Nimbus Companion will give you the possibility to attach LLM to the Nimbus Contact Center. So we have the base foundation of understanding the interaction, and then do the next steps. The virtual user, we see that as a different product, because the Luware Companion is tailored to be a tool for your internal staff. May it be the agent who takes the call, where we help him summarize, transcribe, or even hand in proactive information during the call when he gets some questions from the client, like the ongoing contracts and so on. And then we have also the whole, let's not say supervisor, but the whole administration, the whole management of the contact center, which then again has as a user license, the Nimbus Companion, who helps them in their daily job. So we want to focus the companion really to be a companion, to be your helper in your daily tasks without replacing you, if that's the right word to say.
Yeah, makes sense. So is that a per user license?
Exactly.
So I either have Companion or I don't, and if I want to cover that data collection, I would license my agents to get the relevant calls. That makes sense?
Yeah, exactly. Because every agent we transcribe, or every agent you want to transcribe, will be then transcribed by that Companion. Now we can plug in additional functionalities on top of the Companion. For example, live translation will be one functionality which the Companion can be enabled to do. There is also the live coach, as we will call it, is to hand proactively information during the call. Then we unfortunately have to go into the live transcription, which is a little bit more costly. But there again, when we talk about clients about that, it's always do you have the data for it? I mean, they have the data, have a knowledge base, but interaction to that the AI really understands, this is now specifically about that contract and so on, then it gets kind of tricky. So again, they get the step back, do the transcripts first, so we know how the conversations are shaped.
And that's a good nugget of information there in terms of the LLM cost. So you're jumping up from the post-call analytics into, if you want to have the real-time agent, live agent kind of assist coaching model, you are going to have to transcribe in real time, because you're feeding the model for it to guess, hey, you might want to look at this FAQ, or this is a recent resolution to this issue. It's I'm really excited about that as a use case, because we all know how hard it is to hire and maintain human agents and turnover and challenges there. So being able to help that person do the best they can is a really strong use case. But interesting that obviously there's more LLM cost there.
Yeah, it is drastically higher, I have to say. But as it is, I mean, it is a new technology still, and there's lots of vendors, and there's a race, and it will be commoditized. It's just a question of when. So this is why we said, okay, let's do step by step with a small, again, low risk, high reward approach, where you say, we have a clear business case for post-call transcription summarization and the processing of it afterwards. And the second clear business case for live transcription is the virtual user. So the second product, which you then have out there in the front, is not a user-based solution, because it's more a consumption-based approach then again, because it's being fired for every interaction. And this is where it splits. So virtual user and companion are two independent products that complement each other, if you may.
So would I have a virtual user license for every kind of line I wanted to answer, if you like? So like a mainline virtual user, a IT help desk virtual user. Is that how the licensing works?
Yes, basically. But then the virtual user itself, the cost it generates, or the cost driver, will be the interaction he does.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah. So there's a license to Luware for the feature, but then obviously if that number is getting thrashed and you're doing real-time speech, that's a different level of LLM cost on the back end.
And also to be very specific, full-blown virtual user out there. We have made various tests. We're just doing the triaging. If you take the latest and greatest model, and I think that the GPT real-time models, where you can abrupt him, it's a really human-like interaction. We estimate the total cost of $2 per caller or per triaging, because it's an interaction that will be go back and forth and is quite costly. But then you have really the top of the line experience for your callers. And then you have to ask yourself, adding $2 per routed calls, is that business case still valid in your organization? I mean, if you just have 3 exits, 3 different queues, like in our example with sales and IT helpdesk, and it's a complete overkill. You don't need it. And
yeah, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of money per call just to route the call. Like the economics change drastically if we get to the point where a virtual agent is dealing with the inquiry. Like if it's, hey, I need the opening hours. Here are the opening hours. Thanks. Goodbye. Now you've got happy customer and 0 real human contact. But if you're doing both, then I can see why that's challenging. I appreciate the transparency on the cost there, because that's really interesting.
But again, this is as of today. This is just tests we did on the system where we let it run for clients who budgeted this for a test run. I also have to say very little customers are permanently live right now. They do a test run, then they make lessons learned. So it's like a try and error approach, but it's heading into the right direction with everyone. And we as well keep on learning and adding to our product whatever feedback we have, because we have.
Yeah, and we see how competitive the LLM space is with, both the proprietary and the open source models. Like the costs are only going to go down from here. Who knows on what timeline, but it's as for customers kind of looking forward as to where contact center is going, knowing they've got the option, experimenting, testing. And as you said, having the data ready, that there's already tons of value to me in the companion model, even if you never envisage going AI virtual agent interacting with the actual customer. I'm so excited about the ability to get into the data to build that FAQ knowledge base to know what's going on. There's just tons of value there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's really the big push right now. And Well, but when it all started, like the ideas were endless. There was so many approaches, and we got RFPs for AI modules, and it needed to do everything. And we really had to break everybody and like, okay, let's do step by step. And I think this is really something I would advise every client, like, where is your biggest pain point right now? And focus on the use case, not on the functionality, who has the fanciest and best performance, but focus on the use case. Is it ticket creation? You have the biggest pain point, or is it maybe even the validation if the customer satisfaction, getting the sentiment currently out of the system. This is really where it gets interesting, where we have a tailored specific use case, and then we can attack that one.
Yeah, I love that. I love that pragmatic advice, because I'm seeing a lot of, like you say, flashy demos where someone just hooks the OpenAI speech API up to a call, does a quick demo, and just like, well, yes, it can do things. By the way,
it's not so.
No. Yeah, it's super easy to do. And I mean, the other thing I'm advising organizations as well is a kind of referenceability. Like, because again, it's easy to proof of concept these things together, but talking to solution providers who can say, look, we've done this and we've done that. And as you have done today, Marcel, being like, you might think you want to do this, but here's the pitfall. Or you might be excited about that, but consider the total costs of ownership of the processing. That's really helpful to get those insights. So thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So for all the clients who already use Nimbus and might watch that, hook us up. We have a test license for you to go and try and verify what we spoke to today. And for the others, there's always we're in the cloud solution. We're easily deployed and also as well tested quickly and free of.
Yeah, we did a webinar last year where we live deployed during the webinar and had calls routing in real time. So this is the beauty of the cloud, is you can actually start testing and experimenting with this stuff much easier than the olden days.
No server deployment anymore. Very good on that.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Marcel, thanks so much for taking us through that so clearly. And if people want to find out more, we'll share links to the website and all those details. But great to hear, and look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you very much for having me. And it was always a pleasure. Looking forward for the next session.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye, everyone.